again. At this time, I'd like to introduce Father Petrucci, our department chaplain, to give us the benediction.
It's an honor to be here today to offer this prayer in memory of those who have been so instrumental and given so much, but also in awarding and recognizing those this day. Let us pray. Almighty God, watch over your people gathered here today. For in fitting words and symbols, we celebrate those who by their deeds have fulfilled the call to protect and serve. With strong hands, they have supported those who work to enhance our city. And with strong hearts, they have borne the burden of facing and overcoming those who would harm our community. For they possess the weapon that no enemy can defeat or destroy, the ideals of freedom, of justice, and of love. On this day, we offer heartfelt gratitude and profound prayer as we honor their service, both past and present. We ask you to be with them and with us always, Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father Petrucci. We'll now have the National Memorial Service reading by Sergeant John Krapinski.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, Mayor and Chief. 2009 was not a good year for law enforcement. In my 29 years as an officer and my 21 years of going to Washington, D.C., never have we experienced a year like we did in 2009. Every 3, 4, 5 years, you may experience where multiple officers are shot within a department. Never have we experienced a year where Lakewood lost 4 officers in one shooting. Oakland, 4 officers in one shooting. Jersey City, 5 officers shot in one shooting. 1 officer passed away as a result of that. Pittsburgh, 3 officers killed in the line of duty, the same shooting. It was a very solemn year there to speak with these officers from all these departments. And it's tough dealing with the death of 1 officer. I could not imagine what it would be like dealing with the deaths of 3 and 4 and multiple officers within the department. So it was a tough year down there. It was nice to be able to assist our brothers and sisters from these departments at their time of grievance through there. And hopefully we will not experience this again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Krapinski. At this time, we'll conduct our memorial services by beginning with the placing of the memorial wreath.
Detail. Oh, tail. Freeze head. Oh. Freeze head.
Ready? Freeze it!
That concludes our memorial service. I'd like to thank you all for being here today as we honor all our fallen brothers and sisters. I also invite you all to join us inside the community classroom for our award ceremony portion of the detail. Lieutenant Fisher, dismiss the detail.
Detail. Dismiss. Go on.
Of the 26th annual award ceremony. It's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you the right choice, Mayor of the great city of Danbury, Mayor Mark Bell. Terry, it's my pleasure to be the right choice, I guess. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. This is really kind of a special week and a half within the city of Danbury. It kicks off with this event, which is the Memorial of Fallen Officers, not just in the Danbury and greater Danbury area, but across the country. And obviously we use this time to memorialize those who served with the Danbury PD that are no longer with us. But also begins sort of the week of Memorial Day for our armed forces. And because our armed forces are so well linked, I guess you could say, with our police department, certainly it's a week and a half of reflection, of thought about the sacrifices that all men and women make for their communities, for their state, for their country. So I'm honored that so many people are here. I just want to take a moment to kind of reflect for a second on the year that's passed since last as it relates to the police department. We had many, many calls throughout the year. But I'm going to tell you something, when you look at our statistics, when you look at the work that the men and women of this department are doing day in and day out, we are the safest city in Connecticut, and we moved up 9 spots in the national rankings. I think the number 22 out of all the cities in the United States of America. That's a testament to the work. Incident I just want to sort of reflect on for a second was the incident at Danbury Hospital. I know a lot of folks are here today for that incident. There were a number of different acts of heroism by the staff, by the security department at Danbury Hospital, and it was handled incredibly well internally by the hospital. But I got to tell you something. When I walked up into that building after getting a call from Frank Kelly, the president and CEO of Danbury Health Systems, and I was there within about a half an hour, our officers had responded within seconds of the first shot being fired. And not just with one car. We completely crashed that particular building with as many units as we could. Again, a testament to the care, compassion, and hard work of this police department, who puts everything, including self, above themselves. So I'm so proud of the way we reacted in that incident. It was regrettable, but certainly it was an incident that we can be proud of in the sense of the way it was handled both internally with the hospital and externally with our police department. So thank you for a great year. I'm honored to work with such wonderful men and women. I see you every day after 9 years. I've learned everybody's name and know a little bit about all your families. And I understand that you can't do what you do if you don't have support at home, so I want to thank the families that are here as well for doing that. For our civilian heroes, thank you for stepping up to the plate once again for our community. God bless you and God bless America.
Now a few words from the Chief of Police, this great police department, Chief Alan D. Baker.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on such a beautiful morning. It's really a great day to have this celebration. Mayor Boughton, elected officials, and other distinguished guests, my fellow Danbury police officers, again, thank you for coming out to share this special occasion. You know, today's a bittersweet day for the Danbury Police Department because first and most importantly, we gather this morning to honor the memory of the sacrifice of those Danbury police officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the city of Danbury and their fellow citizens. And let me just read off their names and we'll never forget. First of all, P.O. Florence Sullivan, September 8th, 1896. Police Officer Robert Keating, October 16th, 1955. Police Officer Stephen Machalko, 11/11/1976. And Captain Dennis Cooney, 9/12/1994. Although these brave officers have physically left us, their spirit of service did not. That spirit continues on in all of us, and that spirit is something that guides our actions today. Also, today is a day of celebration, recognition, and honor. As we hold our annual award ceremony, you're going to hear some pretty amazing stories about the actions of Danbury police officers over the past year, and some pretty amazing stories to read about what our citizens have done. It's their hard work and their devotion of all Danbury police officers to make Danbury the safest city in Connecticut and one of the greatest cities in the country. So I'd like to congratulate all the honorees and their families. I want to thank Mayor Boughton and our community leaders for recognizing the importance of their contributions and sacrifices by honoring us with your presence today. And most importantly, I want to thank the Danbury police officers for what you do every day. You certainly make me look good, you make our agency look good, and I sincerely thank you, and I'm truly humbled and honored to serve with you. So let's get started with the awards.
As I call your name to receive your award, please come and stand and face the audience. Stand over here on my right, your left. And then after I read the award citation, please step over this way, receive your award from the chief and the mayor, and return back to your seat. Thank you. Our first honorees are Detective Joseph LaRose, Detective Craig Martin, Detective Daniel Champetta, DEA Special Agent Rodney George, United States Marshal Anthony Iaquinto. Marshal Iaquinto is on assignment and cannot be with us today. On February 10th, 2009, the Danbury Police Department responded to a report of a dead body off the edge of Peyton Arm Road. It appeared that the body had been dumped at this location. Detectives Trompetta, Martin, and LaRose were assigned to investigate. The victim was identified as being from the Bronx, New York, and was discovered to have several gunshot wounds. Further investigation revealed he had been involved with large quantity marijuana trafficking. DEA Special Agent Rodney George and U.S. Marshal Anthony Iaquinto were advised of the homicide and joined the investigation. A very comprehensive investigation followed, which led to seizures of crucial evidence, such as approximately 70 pounds of marijuana, security video of suspects setting the suspect vehicle on fire. In addition, they located and conducted countless interviews of witnesses, participants, and suspects, ultimately leading to confessions of the homicide. As a result of this investigation, 2 men, residents of New York, were indicted by a grand jury of the United States District Court on charges including, but not limited to, kidnapping resulting in death, premeditated murder, use of firearms during a drug trafficking crime, and possession with intent to distribute marijuana. Detectives LaRose, Martin, Trompetta, and DEA Special Agent George, U.S. Marshal Iaquinto worked tirelessly for months on this investigation, which is a fine example of how cooperation between our department units and other law enforcement agencies, we can work as a team with a common goal and see that justice prevails. Our detectives, LaRose, Martin, and Trompetta, received the Medal of Meritorious Service. DEA Special Agent Rodney George received the Chief's Achievement Award. Thank you, gentlemen. Our next honorees, Sergeant Martin Labraco, P.O. Dave Scantling, then P.O. now Sergeant Mark Spicosa, P.O. Dan Sellner, and Mr. Ken Front. Please come forward. April 2nd, 2009, Sergeant Labraco, Officers Spicosa, Sellner, and Scantling responded to the AT&T store in Danbury Fair Mall regarding a fraud complaint. 2 males had entered the store and were attempting to buy 12 Apple iPhones valued at over $700 each. Mr. Front, an employee at the store, was suspicious due to the fact that there had been fraud complaints in other Fairfield County AT&T stores. The phones were bought at a lower price with cash and service contracts not honored. Upon some investigation, it was determined that the company the suspects were representing went out of business in 2007, and the president of the company was in fact deceased. Due to the fact the suspect had no valid ID and had used several different names, he was placed under arrest and brought in for processing and questioning. The Danbury Police Department was contacted by federal agencies, including Immigration and the Terrorism Task Force, stating that the suspect's name revealed a possible tie to terrorist organizations, as well as false information about his place of birth and activities in the United States. Sergeant Labraco, Officer Sellner, Scantling, Spicosa did an excellent job of investigating this situation. This individual is now under federal investigation, which may stop this scam from continuing, therefore stopping at least some money from being sent to fund terrorism. Sergeant Labraco and Officer Sellner are awarded the Exceptional Police Service Award. Next recipients are Officer Andre Lavasi, Officer Tom Stretchemeyer, and Officer Mike Rayo. On August 5th, 2009, Danbury police officers were advised that the New Milford Police Department was investigating a report of a missing person who was suicidal, and they requested our assistance in attempting to locate her. Officers had her cell phone pinged, finding that it was less than a mile from the Danbury Hospital cell tower. Officer Stretchermeyer requested Sergeant Cooney utilize an internet mapping program to identify locations that encompass the area, proceeded to conduct a diligent search of this area. Police later received information that a friend of the missing person had received a call from her stating she had slit her wrists in a motel room. After learning the location of the hotel room, Officer Stretchermeyer arrived and located her vehicle in a parking lot. Stretchermeyer and Havasi went to a room with the manager, and after not getting a response, entry was gained with spare keys. The victim was found on her back on the floor, bleeding heavily. A suicide note was clearly written on her shirt, draped over the headboard of the bed, and multiple pills were observed on the nightstand. She was breathing, but unresponsive. The officers applied pressure to stop the bleeding. Emergency medical personnel arrived and took over treatment during transport to the hospital. Officer Stretchermeyer operated the ambulance, so work could be done on her in the back of the ambulance. The initiative of these officers, through thorough investigation and rendering of necessary medical care, played an integral part in saving the life of a person who intended to end it, giving her a new chance to receive treatment for her mental health issues and a new chance on life. For their efforts, Officers Havasi and Stretchermeyer are awarded the life-saving medal.
Try it that way. That's fine.
On there.
That's right. Officer Joseph Pooler, please come forward. August 22nd, 2009, officers were dispatched to the boat launch on Kendall Lake Town Park for a vehicle in the water. The vehicle was completely submerged in the water about 80 feet from shore, and its headlights were still lit. Officer Pooler was on scene, took off his gear, and went into the water to check the vehicle for occupants. He swam out to the vehicle in the dark, determined that the windows had been broken, the airbag was deployed, the cab of the truck appeared empty. But he also found a baseball hat and a pair of shoes floating in the water, increasing the possibility that there was a victim still in the water. Water visibility was poor. He was not able to see if there was anyone in the water. He exited the water as the fire department was arriving, and a firefighter wearing special water gear entered the water. The truck was later removed from the water and appeared to have been rigged to be sunk in the water. Officer Pooler acted courageously with the possibility that people were trapped inside the submerged vehicle and not having knowledge beforehand that it had been sunk on purpose. For his efforts in this case, Officer Pooler is awarded the Exceptional Police Service Award. Don't believe Officer Rodriguez is here. He had to work minutes, but I'll tell you real quick about Officer Rodriguez, case number 9384. Officer Rodriguez responded to a report of an armed robbery. He arrived in the area. He was flagged down by a group of individuals that witnessed one of the suspects involved in the robbery who was walking in the area of 300 Main Street. Officer Rodriguez was able to catch up to the suspect, who in the meantime was dropping money on the ground trying to get away. Officer Rodriguez subdued him prior to the arrival of backup. He interviewed one witness to the crime, and subsequently another one came forward to provide a statement. Officer Rodriguez is commended for his quick response and arrest of a suspect that in all likelihood was one of the parties responsible for a number of recent street robberies occurring in that area. We will give Officer Rodriguez the Exceptional Police Service Award. Next on the raise Officers John Dickinson, Mark Koza, and Greg Topa. 29th of September, about 8 p.m., a woman was standing on West Street waiting for her husband. She was talking on her cell phone when she was approached by a man who pointed a small black handgun at her ordered her to turn over her cell phone and her money. She didn't have any money, so he took her cell phone and left the scene running towards the food bag. Victim's husband arrived shortly thereafter and called the police. Officer Dickinson quickly arrived and broadcast a description of the suspect to other units. Officer Topa observed a man fitting the description in the neighborhood. He exited his cruiser, drew his weapon, ordered the male to get on the ground, held the suspect at gunpoint until Officer Koza arrived to assist him. They handcuffed and searched the suspect, locating the handgun and cell phone in his pocket. Though the weapon turned out to be a facsimile of a firearm, Officer Dickinson then brought the victim to the scene, who positively identified the suspect as the male that had just robbed her. He was placed under arrest. As a result of the quick actions by Officers Dickinson, Koza, and Topa, the street robbery investigation came to a very swift conclusion. Officer John Dickinson is awarded the meritorious citations. Mr. Jamie Nobre?
Where?
It is here. On 10th of October, about 2:15 in the morning, the Danbury police responded to a strong armed robbery on Baumforth Avenue. Two males were walking in this area when a vehicle with four males pulled into the parking lot and attacked the two victims. During the attack, one of the victims was knocked out, and the attackers continued to kick him in the head several times. Mr. Nobre, a resident of this area, heard the commotion, went outside, and from an elevated position started to video the attack on his cell phone. The four suspects continued to assault the two victims and then went through their pockets. They jumped into their vehicle. One of the victims pulled the other unconscious victim away from the path of the suspect vehicle as it backed away before it fled. Still recording the incident, Mr. Nobre called out the plate number into the audio of his phone. As a result of his actions, the Danbury Police Department was able to locate the suspects and develop probable cause leading to their ultimate arrest on serious felony charges. The victims were treated at Danbury Hospital for serious injuries, and one of them was admitted. Mr. Nobre took a substantial risk by calling out to the suspects, and he undoubtedly shortened the attack on the victims by his actions. He is commended for his courage to help the victims and the Danbury Police Department. He's awarded the Civilian Award. Detectives Caroccio and Mabel. Detectives Paul Caroccio and Ethan Mabel worked extremely hard on 7 serious felony cases together during the past year. This included locating and interviewing witnesses and suspects, obtaining statements and confessions, securing and executing search warrants, seizing evidence, and apprehending and arresting numerous suspects. These incidents occurred from April 2009 through January 2010, most being armed robberies on the street and at service stations. On two occasions, the robbers used baseball bats to attack the victims. Detectives Ethan Mabel and Paul Caroccio are awarded the Exceptional Police Service Award for their successful investigation of these serious felonies. These investigations reflected well upon themselves, the entire Danbury Police Department, and significantly contributed to the safety of the city. The enthusiasm and determination they demonstrated to successfully resolve these crimes is impressive. The Exceptional Police Service Award. I don't think John Basile could join us today, but I'm going to tell you something he did this past year. At a sexual assault at Hillcroft Apartments, this was a man who was a serial offender who had just been released from prison less than 3 days prior for committing sexual assaults at the same apartment complex. As soon as he's released from prison, he goes right back to the same area, commits another heinous act. Police officers responded. The information and suspect description were disseminated to all units. Officer Basile was working a private duty job in the area, and he observed the suspect exit a store on Main Street, thought that he looked a lot like the suspect, and stopped him for questioning. The suspect had stolen 2 credit cards from the victim. Officer Basile checked around the area and found the victim's credit cards discarded and bent in a garbage can that he saw the suspect near. Officer Basile's observations and attention to detail permitted him to be responsible for capturing a serial rapist who had been out of prison for less than 72 hours. By being aware of his surroundings, paying attention to radio traffic, he most likely prevented this predator from striking again. Officer Basile will be awarded the meritorious citation. Detective Daniel Trumpetta. On the 10th of November, 3:20 in the afternoon, Danbury Police Department responded to a home invasion robbery at a Herman Street residence. The victim was a 70-year-old disabled female who was confined to a wheelchair walker. The victim answered a knock at the door to find a male wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, dark ski mask over his face, and gloves. The male forced his way into the home holding a knife to the neck of the victim, causing a small nick to her neck. The suspect forced the victim into the kitchen in her wheelchair, demanding money. He stole $150 from her pocketbook and her laptop computer. The suspect exited the home, dropping a steak knife by the side of the road near the front of the house. Information was provided by a family member of the victim concerning a possible suspect and location where he might be. Detective Dan Trumpetta led the investigation, developing probable cause to secure a search warrant for the suspect's home and the vehicle used by the suspect. While officers were searching this home, the suspect drove by in his vehicle, which was subsequently stopped by police personnel and searched. Seized from the vehicle was a black knit ski-type mask with holes cut in it and a pair of dark gloves. The suspect was arrested and charged with home invasion and assault of a victim over 60. After more investigation, Detective Trumpetta was able to tie this suspect to 2 additional home invasions and an armed carjacking within the last few months. Detective Daniel Trumpetta's excellent and timely investigation resulted in the apprehension of a dangerous criminal whose behavior was focused particularly against weak and elderly Danbury citizens. The Exceptional Police Service Award. We have Officers Williams, Kupchak, DeJesus, the other Williams, Justin Williams, and Mike Rayo, Sergeant Cooney. I think we just have Officer DeJesus right there. 25th of November, 4:20 in the afternoon, Officers Kupchak and Williams responded to Shepherd Hill condos checking on the well-being of a person. The complainant relayed that the homeowner had called and made suicidal statements. Upon arrival, the officers were greeted by the homeowner, who was brandishing a 2-foot-long weightlifting bar over his head in an aggressive manner. The man then retreated back inside his apartment. Officers Williams and DeJesus took positions next to the front door, while P.O. Kupchak attempted to calm and reassure the man through the door. The man threatened to kill and harm the officers, ultimately stating this would become a suicide by cop situation. Officers remained calm while the male went out into his second-story balcony, continuing to verbally rant and threaten officers, occasionally tossing potted plants and other small items in their direction. It was learned that the man had a history of mental health issues and substance abuse, and had lately begun to show signs of psychosis. Shortly thereafter, the male exited his apartment suddenly and approached officers in an aggressive manner and was tasered and taken into protective custody. Officers Williams and Kupchak acted in a restrained and professional manner in their initial encounter and taking control of the scene before the arrival of Sergeant Cooney. Officer DeJesus, Williams, and Rayo utilized good police tactics in securing the perimeter, resulting in the man receiving the medical help he desperately needed without being harmed. Officer DeJesus is awarded the unit citation. Officer Don LeBron. 19th of December, 1 o'clock in the morning, officers responded to a Bond 4th Avenue address and a report of an assault involving multiple subjects and a knife. Officer LeBron arrived on scene to help with translating. The victim had been robbed in his vehicle by the two suspects who were acquaintances in a parking lot. Descriptions of the suspects were gathered and broadcasted. The victim had given the suspects a ride home from a bar downtown, ultimately parking the car in the lot. Once he did, one of the suspects held a knife to his throat and demanded all his money or he would kill him. The victim handed over $80, a bank card, and his cell phone. The suspects then fled on foot. A few hours later, Officer LeBron was sent to Stevens' place on a disturbance call and noticed that the two people inside this location matched the descriptions of the robbery suspects earlier in the evening. He had memorized the stolen cell phone number from the robbery, and he called it. The phone in one of the suspects' possession rang in his pocket. Both suspects were questioned, and their statements helped connect them to the victim for the earlier robbery. Consequently, they were arrested. The victim came to headquarters and positively identified both suspects. Officer LeBron's outstanding police work resulted in the arrest of two dangerous felons. The meritorious citation. Sergeant Cooney, Officer Belair, Havasi, Lajardo, Partovich, Strano. The 19th of December, 3:53 in the morning. Officers Belair and Havasi were dispatched to a call that a resident heard someone outside his home and then observed a van leaving the area. Officer Havasi found the van running with its lights off in front of the home on another street. As P.O. Belair arrived to assist them, they noticed dome lights lit in two cars in the driveway. As they went to check the vehicles, they observed the suspect flee the area. A foot chase began, but the suspect was lost in a heavily wooded area. Numerous items of property were found when the van was searched. It was determined that at least 5 vehicles were broken into in the immediate area. A large search was performed, but the suspects were not located. A short time later, police received a report of a stolen motor vehicle. Officer Partovich saw the suspect vehicle in the area of the Ridgewood Country Club and attempted to stop it. The suspects abandoned the vehicle and tried to escape on foot. Perimeter was established around the area. Officer Havasi quickly arrived, ran after, and captured the first suspect in a neighboring yard. Officer Strano pulled up and took the second suspect into custody without incident. These two suspects had in fact burglarized a flower shop in New York State, stolen numerous items, and stole a van. They then drove this van to Danbury, where they broke into a number of cars. All property, including 2 additional vehicles, was recovered. All officers, including their supervisor, Sergeant Cooney, operated in cooperation, demonstrated great police tactics, which ultimately caused the suspects to be arrested. The unit citation. Mr. Raymond Bradisak. New Year's Day 2010, the police department responded to a purse snatching robbery of an elderly female at Expect Discounts on Newtown Road. 79-year-old female victim was putting her groceries in her car when a male grabbed her shoulder bag and attempted to pull it away while the victim was struggling to keep possession of it. The suspect was pulling the victim towards his car with the strap of the shoulder bag, then entered his vehicle, the victim now reaching in the window trying to hold on to her purse. The suspect drove off, the purse dragging the victim several feet before she was forced to let go. Mr. Raymond Bradisak, observing this taking place from inside the store and confirmed that the suspect had stolen the purse, jumped into his own car and started following the suspect vehicle. He was unable to call, not having his cell phone with him. The suspect vehicle crashed on Triangle Street. The suspect and a female occupant ran from the car. Mr. Bradisak asked someone to call the police. He remained at the scene cooperating as a witness and later giving detectives a good statement. As a result of his actions, detectives were able to identify the suspect and the female that fled and secure an arrest warrant for him with the charge of robbery. The civilian award. Detective Paul Carocchio. Yeah, just tell him to step out. He's back. January 10th, 2010, the Danbury Police Department responded to an armed robbery, Charles One Stop, located on Main Street. The next day, officers responded to another robbery, this time at the Union Savings Bank, across the street. The following week, January 18th, an attempted robbery at Walgreens, a little further south on Main Street. Detective Paul Carocchio was assigned to investigate all three incidents. The suspect in each of these incidents had a similar description from both witnesses in security video. Described as a white male, 5'8", 6 foot, thin, dark hooded jacket pulled up partially covering his face, large nose, and armed with a dark-colored semi-auto handgun. Believed the same suspect committed the aforementioned incidents. Detective Carocchio received a lead on a suspect from a department member and also discovered that detectives from area agencies had larceny warrants for this particular suspect. He located associates of the suspect and interviewed them. With the assistance of other detectives in the department, he was able to apprehend the suspect at a Danbury residence. The suspect was arrested on warrants from Monroe and Newtown. Further interviews resulted in a search warrant that uncovered 2 weapons, one of which was believed to have been used by the suspect during these 3 incidents. Detective Carocchio obtained arrest warrants for the suspect on robbery charges for the above 3 incidents, the 3 robberies. It was determined that the suspect was addicted to heroin, therefore it was likely, if he was not apprehended, he would have continued his criminal behavior to supply his drug habit. Detective Paul Carocchio is awarded the meritorious citation for his excellent investigation into these 3 robberies. Mr. Andrew O'Leary, Mr. Chad Teeser. Early morning hours of February 2nd, 2 lone females were walking down Railroad Place. 2 brothers were passing the girls in a vehicle and began harassing them, then stopped their car when the girls responded. After an exchange of words, one male exited the vehicle carrying a baseball bat. He began poking one of the females with the bat, stating he would smash her head in. The girl was in fear for her life and believed that he was capable of striking her in the head due to his agitated state. It was at this time that Andrew O'Leary and Chad Teeser were walking down the street and observed this incident. Without regard for their own safety, they intervened. The male with the bat turned his anger toward the 2 men and began striking them with the bat. One was struck in the face, suffering a broken nose, while the other sustained a broken wrist. Even with their serious injuries, they were able to wrestle the bat from the suspect, who then fled on foot, but was later apprehended. If not for the quick and courageous actions by Mr. Andrew O'Leary, Mr. Chad Teeser, the female may have sustained serious or life-threatening injuries. The civilian award. March 2nd, 2010, just after 2:30 in the afternoon, a shooting incident was reported at the Danbury Hospital. Let me call some people up for this one. I'll turn this off again. I'm just trying to avoid having to pronounce some of these names. So, Mr. Andrew Hull, Mr. Abhishek Harakar, Mr. Tim Marullo, Mr. Jamie Pisano. March 2nd, 2010, just after 2:30 in the afternoon, a shooting incident was reported at the Danbury Hospital. Several units responded. A successful investigation ensued and an arrest was made. This incident involved an 85-year-old male cardiac crisis patient on the 8th floor of the hospital. This patient retrieved a .25 caliber semi-automatic pistol from his personal belongings and attempted to attack 2 nurses that were treating him. One nurse, Andrew Hull, intervened and attempted to physically subdue the patient. At this point, the patient began to fire the weapon, striking Hull in the neck, hand, and chest, causing Hull serious injuries. It was believed that Hull's intervention prevented the patient from attacking Hull's female co-worker. As Holt, seriously wounded, retreated from the patient towards the elevator area, hospital security officer Abhishek Harakar grabbed the patient from behind and took the patient to the ground. The patient continued to fire the pistol as he was being subdued. Harakar controlled the patient's pistol hand, pointing it away from their bodies until fellow security officers Tim Marullo, Jamie Pisano, each grabbed the patient's arms and controlled him onto the floor. Marullo then forced the pistol out of the patient's hand and later provided it to the police upon their arrival. With this incident occurring in the cardiac unit of the hospital, there would have likely been several people with gunshot wounds, possible fatalities, had these four civilians not acted quickly, showing great courage and disregard for their own safety. Their actions also prevented a potential standoff with arriving police officers, which could have resulted in officer injuries and/or the use of deadly force. For their actions in this case, Mr. Andrew Holt and Mr. Abhishek Harakar are awarded the Chief's Achievement Award and the Civilian Award, and the Civilian Award is awarded to Mr. Tim Marullo, Mr. Jamie Pisano. Great job. That's tough to top, but we'll get three more to go. Detective Lieutenant Tom Michael. Detective Lieutenant Thomas Michael is awarded the Chief's Achievement Award for outstanding devotion to duty over an extended period of time. In particular, during 2006, Detective Lieutenant Michael took over supervision of the Victim Advocate Law Enforcement VAIL program, Danbury Police Department. The program was a collaboration between a team of specially trained police officers and a victim advocate from the Women's Center of Greater Danbury. The advocate worked in a frontline police setting, responding with police officers to domestic violence complaints. Together, the VAIL team offered investigative services and support to domestic violence victims and their families. The introduction of a civilian advocate as a first responder caused some organizational transition duties. Detective Lieutenant Michael successfully used his many years of law enforcement experience and his easygoing, personable nature to help bridge that gap with his supervisory and management skills. Detective Lieutenant Michael served as our liaison to the Women's Center, building a successful working relationship. For the Danbury Police Department, he developed a scheduling system, arranged for proper training, and provided a reporting system that met the needs of the department, the Women's Center, and the Connecticut Coalition for Domestic Violence. Ultimately, victims of domestic violence were better served because of his experience and devotion. Because of funding cuts at the Women's Center, the VAIL program was discontinued in 2009. However, Detective Lieutenant Michael's administrative model will serve as a blueprint for similar programs when the funding environment improves. The Chief's Achievement Award. Officer Hayes is one of our school resource officers. He's tied up down in school, but I will tell you that he received the Chief Achievement Award for being named the Exchange Club Officer of the Year. Officer Hayes has been involved in many different facets of the department: community services, state neighborhood unit, bicycle patrol, dare officer, and he's now the school resource officer at Broadview Middle School. He volunteers and assists with Connecticut Special Olympic fundraisers, instrumental in initiating the Terry Weil 5K. In addition, he has spent several years coaching various student athletic programs at Immaculate High. His roles within both the police department and the community are highly commendable. Commendable. I think it's easy. It's through his hard work. It is obvious to the pride and respect he has for his job and fellow officers. Officer Hayes constantly and consistently demonstrates his commitment and dedication to the community in which he works and lives. For that, he was selected as the Exchange Club Officer of the Year, and he will receive the Chief's Achievement Award, P. O'Brien Hayes. Stretch this one out. Stretch, okay. Good. Officer Peter Elstein. Chief's Achievement Award goes to Officer Peter Elstein. As a member of the Danbury Police Department for 7 years, he's consistently performed his duties with enthusiasm and professionalism while representing the city of Danbury and our department. His experience and knowledge of police work enable him to be the kind of officer he is on a daily basis, willing to do more without being asked and ensuring the public is happy when in contact with our department. Officer Elstein's efforts are very proactive and highly motivated, and his involvement in the department is varied: Honor Guard, SWAT, and the FTO program. Officer Elstein demonstrates a great dedication to duty and his fellow officers and is a fine representative of the Danbury Police Department. For this, he has been selected as the Danbury Rotary Club Sunrise Officer of the Year and will receive the Chief's Achievement Award. I want to thank you all for attending today. You heard some great tales of bravery, hard work, especially the guys from the hospital. It's a fantastic job. And for the awards board, it's always tough for us. It's we get the supervisors will put officers in for awards. We have to go through them and make sure we're consistent from year to year. It's not always an easy job. We try to recognize good work, but there's so much good work done on a daily basis. We can make this a 3-day event if we were really truly honest about it, to reward all the good hard work that's done. But I want to thank you all, especially the families, for supporting. It's a tough job, and our guys do a great job doing this tough job. So thank you very much. I want to thank Misty Leonard, who came in on her day off. She's usually off Fridays, but she did all this. It's kind of like church, where you think it's over and then they give you a whole bunch of announcements. Anyhow, lunch should be ready in a few minutes. If you want to hang out, just relax for a few minutes. We have lunch coming in, and feel free to stay a little bit and enjoy some good food from Biscotti's.